Gray is here on the Blaze Radio Network.
Okay, we've got to address the skeleton in the room. The obvious elephant and the skeleton in the room right now, because I thought that we were on to something yesterday.
Did you? Is that what you thought?
Yeah.
Is that what you thought?
That's what I thought, was that, okay, Jeffy went too far.
Yeah.
Over the weekend, didn't get enough nutrition, and turned out like this.
Right.
I don't know if we have can we get a shot of what he looked like?
See.
And then here you are,
Here I am.
looking a little more fleshy than
Thank you.
Obviously that.
That's weird.
Well, I saw your post yesterday on social media on your ex account.
Right, where we were memorializing you.
Yes.
Yeah, because
It even gave your birth date.
I fact checked
2,500,000 BC to 2024 AD.
Really funny. However,
Do we have that?
I fact checked that.
You did fact check.
I fact checked that.
Oh, okay.
And,
And
that's
you found
not
out to be
me.
true.
I found out that this is actually Jimmy Carter.
Oh.
And he's even got the I voted
Okay.
sticker on, so we know it's him.
Let's see. He's got the
know
I
it's
voted
So he lived
sticker?
just long enough to
Just
go
long
ahead
enough,
and
yes.
vote.
Yes.
Oh, good for him.
Hold on a second. I didn't think I was going to have a place to discuss this today, but here it is. If there's ever a moment. Michael Malice tweeted out yesterday, Jimmy Carter said, "Please kill me," and that was legally adjudicated as him voting for Kamala Harris.
It's a good line.
Yeah,
There
it
you
is.
go.
It's a good line.
But anyway, no, because we had never seen you and the skeleton together in the same place,
room.
and
No.
now
So we just assumed,
Now
and
we-
it's sitting right. It was sitting right in your chair where you are right now. So we just assumed.
Imposter.
Damn. So Jeffy died over the weekend and didn't get
Nobody
enough
saw him.
and getting enough to
He
eat.
stood there.
Now, obviously, it makes sense because it would take a lot longer
okay.
for that to happen.
Really? Why would?
I mean,
why would
like
that be?
centuries for that to happen, at least, if not millennia.
Why
you know
would
what I mean?
that be?
I don't know.
Again.
I just
Oh.
flesh doesn't decay that quickly. Right?
I didn't know that we really wanted
some.
the answer to why would that be.
Well, I'm trying to. You keep asking. I'm going to tell you.
Oh boy!
All righty.
You talked about Jimmy Carter voting and early voting in Georgia. I don't know. You guys talk me down, but I think this is great news. On day one, early voting in Georgia yesterday, they had 252,000 ballots cast, just shy of that, 252,000, which shattered the previous
That's a
day
lot.
one early voting
Wow.
record in Georgia, set 4 years ago, 133,000, almost
Wow.
double.
Wow.
Now, when you're
That's
doing
supposed to be good, right?
when you're doing your fake votes,
that's good.
You're slipping those in later, right? Right?
Yes,
These were ballots
Keith, yes.
cast yesterday.
That's perfect logic. Yes. Let's just go with that.
Either that or these were 200 ballots dumped yesterday. I don't know. No, I think that's a very good sign.
I read either this morning or yesterday. I don't know. Time flows together when you get up at 2 a.m.
That's for sure.
But I was reading that Kamala Harris in early voting leads by 17%. For those who are going to vote on November 5th, Trump leads by 23%.
Okay.
So we'll
Do
see.
we have any comparison numbers like the
I
2020?
I didn't see any. No,
I'll look
I
into
didn't
that.
see any. But
And of course, we've got this judge there. We got the rulings that say that I'm sorry, it's just too chaotic to try to count all the ballots by hand in Georgia. So that requirement, because we talked about how they were.
yeah,
gonna
you
have
don't
to
want
do
it to
that.
be accurate,
Right,
I mean, you don't
right.
want to put in the effort, right? You don't want that.
No,
Well, it takes
don't
too
want
long.
that. It takes too long. We don't want it to take long.
it would just cause quote administrative chaos.
I mean, how long can you expect them to count vote? 5 minutes, maybe 6.
And then we
Now
also
you're-
have.
Yeah, it's
pushing it.
getting kind of
Yeah,
ridiculous.
yeah.
It's 6 minutes.
Then we have Fulton County Superior Court Judge Robert McBurney declares that certification of election results is mandatory under Georgia law, adding to this, no election board, quote, may refuse to certify or abstain from certifying election results under any circumstances. So I don't know what's going to happen. Georgia,
Who knows?
don't screw this up
Yeah,
again.
Please, by all that is holy. Speaking of election time, the first and only debate last night in the Senate campaign between Ted Cruz and Colin Allred happened, and everybody says Cruz won. So
Good.
that seems to be the consensus.
That doesn't surprise me.
No, not at all. I mean, he should win, and he should mop the floor with that guy. But, he's gotten so much out-of-state money from George Soros and other communists.
Well, he's spending it.
Who knows? Oh, my gosh, he's everywhere.
He's spending it.
I cannot watch anything on any streaming service without his stupid face popping up in between. Drives me out. And Kamala Harris, too.
Yes.
And Barack Obama. Hey, folks, time's running out. Time's running out. Shut up. I wish the time was up for all of you people. All y'all, as we like to say here in Texas. Because y'all is singular, but all y'all.
All y'all
is plural. Yeah, so. Now, we are still waiting for Mitt Romney, though, and he's holding out right now on endorsing Kamala Harris.
Is
yeah.
Is that what we're waiting on?
So we're all still waiting on pins and needles. Now,
I did not know I was waiting on Mitt Romney.
For me, though, I will say this. While a Mitt Romney endorsement would certainly be compelling, I'm actually holding out to see who Megan Thee Stallion is voting for. And Miley Cyrus. And when I have those two and their direction, then...
I think you already know.
Really?
Yeah. I think
if I was to really look into it, would it be Kamala?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm all set then. I'm all set. I know who to vote
because
for.
They care about they care about women's rights.
Yes, right. And the right, well, not just any women's right. It's the right for women to kill their babies.
That's correct.
Yeah.
I mean, even Bryan Cranston over the weekend, Mr.
Don't ruin it for him.
Don't.
Okay.
Come on, stop
Don't.
it. Yeah, we know.
Don't.
We know, Jeff.
If they're from Hollywood, that's their deal.
That's for sure.
In
He
almost every
wants his
case.
daughter to be able to kill her baby, damn it.
Yeah, well, you don't want to have any grandchildren, right? So that makes it really convenient for him.
It sure does.
Jeez.
Just real quick, we were talking about early voting and comparing and all that stuff. I mean, this New York Post article, I'll tweet this out. I mean, it's chock full of data, and I'm not going to sit here and read through the whole thing. But bottom line is it's not good news for Democrats.
Good.
Because there's,
Good.
like, for example, here's one nugget. Requests for mail-in ballots are down 58% from 2020.
Good.
I mean, that's
good.
Obviously, that was during COVID, and that was.
Are they sending them out anyway,
ruse.
though?
Well,
I hope so.
The drop is especially steep in the swing states of Georgia and North Carolina, where declines of 84% and 75% respectively.
Wow.
It's the less of those ballots you got floating around out there, the less you got the mules dropping them off in these drop boxes.
True.
And obviously, Georgia with tweaking their voter laws is Jim Crow 2.0, as we saw by, the record turnout yesterday. So much suppression of voters.
Have they cut back on the drop boxes and stuff? That's what they're calling the Jim Crow.
Well, I mean, that's one of the many things.
Yeah, okay.
And then let's see. The drop is smaller for these requested ballots, but still noticeable in 3 Midwestern blue wall states. Mail-in requests in Wisconsin down 59%. Down 36% in Pennsylvania, and down 24% in Michigan. And then the last line I'll read here is, this is troubling news for Democrats, as their voters in recent years dominated among mail ballots. Wonder why? Why would Democrats dominate the mail-in ballots? So anyway, that's some good news, some anecdotal stuff there from the New York Post.
Yeah. Every little bit helps.
Sure does.
Every little inkling of hope helps.
And remember how...
Because it's a scary time.
Razor thin these margins were in these swing states. So you just have to make up a little bit of difference in a few places.
Right.
So,
meanwhile, Kamala said during an interview that a voter who was panicked about former President Donald Trump putting non-white people in camps, she claimed that person made a really important point.
Oh.
Yeah, it's an important point that person was making. She said, so you've hit on a really important point and expressed it, I think, so well, which is he is achieving his intended effect to make you scared. He is running full-time on a campaign that is about instilling fear.
Right, this is him.
That's him.
Is running on fear.
Trump is running
I'm sorry.
on fear.
I want to make sure I was clear about what
When they say he's an existential threat to America, a threat to democracy. He'll be a dictator. He'll never leave office. He'll lock up his adversaries. Now he'll create prison camps for minorities. That's not running on fear.
Okay.
No. Those are just the issues. So, want everybody to understand that so that they know who the real fearmonger is here.
Well, she's also out,
Jeez.
bribing and making promises to black voters, which, I mean, this is insulting.
I have this. I have the Charlamagne thing.
Yeah,
Do we have it on video?
Clip 9.
Oh, okay.
So my agenda, well, first of all, on the point of reparations, it has to be studied. There's no question.
Has to be studied.
And
yeah.
I've been very clear about that position.
She's been very clear.
Okay.
She's been very clear. Let me play the long version because his question.
Okay.
The setup is so agonizing.
It's very agonizing. And is this his question or is he reading someone else's question to her?
Honestly, I don't know. He sounds like he's reading it, but I don't know.
I would hope that he is actually smarter than this, but
I don't know if he's reading his own question or that of a listener.
My question to you is, what's your stance on reparations? We all know that America became great, off the backs of free black labor.
Do we?
So, yeah, we all know
Do
that.
we know that?
That's a given. That's a given. Nothing ever happened in the North that caused America to be great. I mean, come on. Did they contribute? You bet they did. But it wasn't entirely built on the backs of free slave labor. And that doesn't diminish the horror and the evil that slavery was. It's just you can't sum up all of America's greatness based on that. Stop it.
How progressive are you on making it a priority?
Sounds like this is
and
his
righting
question,
America's wrongs? Mm-hmm. It's understood that you are running for president for all people of America. Asking for specifics for black communities doesn't mean don't do for others, but black Americans are heavily asked to vote Democrat in every election for over half a century with very little in return.
Thank you.
What are your plans to address these very important issues and change that narrative?
Well, and I'm glad, if this is from Charlamagne himself, I'm really glad he's asking it because he's been so oppressed. He's been held down. Do you know he only makes like $2.5 million a year from his show? You can't get by on that.
No, you can't.
What
the American dream is not working for him.
Can be expected. It's not working for him. It's not working. So please give him reparations. I don't know if it's $1 million per black person, 2 million, 10 million. What is it? What is the number?
It's not going to be enough.
It's not going to be. Yeah. Would you think that would end the issue for all time?
No.
Not on your life.
And
not
B,
on your life.
Whatever they come up with is going to be too much. So, I mean, that's what they tried in California, right? It has to be addressed.
Well, they're
we have
still
to look
trying.
at it. We have
they're
to look at it.
still doing
that.
that.
But Gavin looked at they came back with their, I don't know.
Oh, yeah, he did veto
with their, I don't know how many millions of dollars per person.
He did put the
even
kibosh
Gavin
on
Newsom
that.
is like,
no,
we're going to go ahead and not do that.
Right. But here it is.
Thank you, Zeke.
I appreciate that. Thank you. And thank you for your work.
Welcome. You're welcome.
So, to your point,
thank you, Zeke.
yes, I am running to be a president for all Americans. That being said, I do have clear eyes.
She has clear eyes. What does that mean?
Wait a minute. That sounds like something else.
She's running for office for all Americans, but on the other hand, she's got clear eyes. Okay.
She knows.
Yeah.
About the disparities that exist and the context in which they exist, meaning history.
Meaning history.
To your point.
To your point.
So my agenda, well, first of all, on the point of reparations, it has to be studied. There's no question about
We'll
it.
look at it.
And I've been very
question.
clear about that position.
She's been very clear about that.
In terms of my immediate plan, I will tell you a few of the following.
Tell
One,
me a few of the following.
as it relates to the economy, which is a lot of what you have addressed.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I grew up in the middle class.
Oh, my God. She went there again. Oh, my God. I have come to hate that line almost more than any other.
And it's not working, is it?
In the middle class.
Can I just
Well, because everybody knows it's not true.
home.
Yeah.
And Pat, they have absolutely no self-awareness. We had 8 years, elected twice, a black man to the presidency of the United States.
Yep.
She's sitting there as a black woman, as the sitting vice president of the United States. And yet they talk like
we've had no progress.
It's 1955,
or worse.
And the Klan's running around in the South, and shut up. Ugh.
I know.
Worked hard, raised me and my sister, and by the time I was in high school, she was able to afford our first home.
Oh, wow. That's pulled herself up by the bootstraps. How'd you do that then?
No, Pat.
How'd you do that? Because there was slavery before.
She didn't have boots to pull herself up with.
Right. She pulled her skin up. It is so agonizing. And again, anytime you get into this issue, let's say you're in favor of reparations. Who gets them and who pays for them? So you're giving them to people who weren't slaves, and you're taking the money from people who didn't own slaves. So how does any of this work? Do they have to be African American? Do they have to have come from Africa? Can they come from the Caribbean? Can they come from Europe? Can they be European blacks? Where do you draw that line? Do they have to have had actual slaves in their past? Because many blacks don't. They don't.
No, they don't.
So how would you even administer that?
Well, because if you're any African American still feels the struggle from slavery.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Incredible.
Even if I didn't have slavery in my family,
so
I have the oppression.
What's this?
Right, because you're white.
Mr. Pasty over there. Chris, what's this clip 23? We have another thing with
We do. She gets very testy with Charlamagne when asked about the failure of the border the first 3 years of her administration.
Oh yeah, because that's Trump's fault. What is Charlamagne doing, blaming that on her?
Yep.
Huh? Just because she's been there for 3.5 years?
Oh my God!
Overseeing the border? Is that all right? Let's see it.
Doesn't the Biden administration have to take some blame for the border, though? A lot of the blame? Because, the first 3 years, y'all did get a lot of things wrong with the border.
Charlamagne. Within hours of being inaugurated.
Oh, good golly.
The first bill we passed before we did the Inflation Reduction Act, before we did the Bipartisan Infrastructure Act, before we did the Safer Communities Act to deal with gun violence, first thing we dropped.
Pause it for a second. Okay. How does this fit into the fact that illegal immigration increased by 5 to 10-fold under your watch? I don't care what steps you took. You can babble about that all day and into the night. It doesn't matter because illegal immigration got worse. The fentanyl problem got worse. The sex trafficking got worse. The criminal illegal aliens that are creating havoc and killing people in America got worse. All of it got worse. So that's what people are asking about. They didn't ask what bill you passed, because we know the bills you pass are ridiculous and don't have they don't have any direction toward closing the border.
No.
In fact, they stopped the wall building immediately. Walz keeps talking about the wall, right?
Yeah.
Tim Walz keeps talking about the fact he didn't build the wall. 2%. He didn't because he got so much opposition in Congress. And then Biden and Harris shut it down completely the second they got into office. So
obviously the steps that you're saying you took didn't work.
No, they didn't work. Even if you really were making an effort to secure the border, which they weren't, it didn't work. All right, let him finish here.
With gun violence, first thing we dropped was a bill to fix the broken immigration system, which, by the way, Trump did not fix when he was president. And you can look at every step along the way. We then tightened up the asylum application process. We then worked with what we needed to do to secure ports of entry. We did a number of things, including what we did to try and get that border security bill passed. And then also an executive order that has actually reduced significantly the number of illegal crossings and tightened up what needs to happen in between ports of entry. But no, we've been working on it ever since. But
so what went wrong?
Thank you, Charlamagne.
What has to happen? Congress has to act
to
fix the immigration.
So what went wrong? Because 10 million people got in anyway in 3 years. It's the most in history. And you're claiming it was good? that it was a tremendous effort on your behalf, on your part? Come on.
Man, that's...
it's hard to take.
Sure
it's really
is.
hard to
sure
take.
Is. So let's revisit the whole reparations thing that we had a moment ago. I'm reading an article here from Reuters because, there's rumors that that Kamala Harris's family, they were slave owners.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
And this is a long article, and I'll just read this sentence from it. These in-depth fact checks from Snopes and PolitiFact have determined that while there is no clear evidence to prove Kamala Harris is a descendant of slave owners, it is likely that she is a descendant of both slaves and slave owners.
Oh.
So they've concluded that it's inconclusive. But bottom line is, history's complicated. Everybody's background is complicated. So if you want to push through on something like reparations, Kamala, write the check, I guess, to yourself, right? I mean, because everybody's got a piece of something in their background, and this is just adds to the fun.
Yeah, it's madness.
There's no way to
Complete
settle
madness.
these debts. It was settled in 1865.
Yeah, they
Stop
completely ignore the fact that 600,000 Americans died to end slavery in the Civil War. So you want to relitigate all that? You want to go through it again? They're just tearing us apart. That's all.
Yes.
By design.
They're just tearing us apart.
Make sure
and
you vote.
as far as the border is concerned, this should give you some kind of clue as to who did what along the border. Because one agent told the New York Post, I'm not doing this stuff again. 4 more years of hell. If she is reelected, I will retire, as will a vast number of other border agents.
Wow.
None of them want to go through this again because they know what the last 4 years have been like under this Biden-Harris administration. He said lots of guys who can retire will go. If Trump wins, they'll stay.
Wow.
I mean, that tells you a lot. These are the people who are actually doing the job. So they're not allowed to do their job, and they're sick and tired of it. I wouldn't want to do that either.
No kidding.
Yeah, did you see the news broke yesterday that 30% of security cameras at the U.S. southern border are broken?
Oh, I saw that.
Raising fears of gotaways. Who knows what's getting by?
Well, I mean, you can't have people fixing cameras. What are we talking about? Along the border.
Build back better, baby.
You'd have to send somebody down there.
Congress needs to act.
So if they can sign 100 executive orders destroying the border, can they sign an executive order saying let's get some freaking cameras down there?
And they very well may have, but still, Congress needs to act. I don't know what you don't understand about that. I mean, we're trying to do something about the border.
Yeah.
It's
You've always
a good
got the
point.
answers.
Yeah, he does.
Thank you.
That's why we love him. And I'm so relieved that that's not him over there sitting next to him. I'm really relieved.
I feel like that might not be true.
I'm not endorsing that.
Are you tired of thinking the only way to grow your retirement savings is by risking it all in the stock market? Well, that's what we've been told, but it's simply not true. You can achieve your financial goals without rolling the dice on Wall Street. If you've got a 401k or IRA right now, guess who really controls it? The government. They tell you how much you can borrow. They tell you when you have to pay it back, and they'll tell you what taxes they're going to crush you with. It's a nightmare, but there's a better way. And that way is bank on yourself. That's what it's called. Bank on yourself. It's a proven alternative that lets you bypass Wall Street and put yourself back in control. Imagine guaranteed predictable income growth, tax-free retirement income, and access to your money with no questions asked. Plus, your savings are protected from market crashes and inflation because it's not in the market. If you want to learn more and find out all about Bank on Yourself, get your free report at bankonyourself.com/unleashed. That's bankonyourself.com/unleashed and get some peace of mind for your financial future.
Pat Gray Unleashed now continues.
Yeah. So on Friday, we're celebrating 2,500 episodes of Pat Gray Unleashed.
You know, we should probably say roughly.
Roughly. Ish. 2,500-ish. I think it's way more than that. Didn't Allie just celebrate her 1,000th a while ago? If she's done 1,000, we've done 3,000 because we've been here a lot longer.
I mean, even Chewing the Fat's broken that long ago.
Long ago.
That's why it's ish, guys. It's
25,000-ish.
Congratulations.
We should
2,500-ish.
We should have ish. A little
ish.
hyphen
Yes.
and then
ish.
Yeah, that's Keith math on that one. My bad.
Yeah.
But join us for the celebration on Friday.
So what are we doing, Chris?
We have cake.
Okay.
Cake.
We have cake.
Yes.
Special guests.
Ice cream.
We have special. We got a singer. We have a clown. We have
a clown.
Is that just us showing up?
I was about to say we have a singer. We have a clown.
Just us showing up?
We always have a clown.
And we have a foreigner. So there we go.
All right.
Mathematician.
Okay.
We have a magician. Yes.
Okay. No, not math. Never mind.
Are we going to have balloon animals?
I was thinking of that.
Do you want balloon animals,
Yes.
Pat?
Yes.
The magician should be able to do that. That they normally can do. That's a dual purpose job.
Right.
Hold on. You remember that clip we played? You're a musician. Did you just call me a magician?
Yes.
Remember
I'm
that?
not that.
Yes.
I'm not that.
Yes, I'm not that.
No, I'm not.
That's what I was thinking when you said that. Are we seriously? Let's get a guy who does kids parties in here and making balloons during the show and just like.
All right, let me.
Awesome.
Okay, I will try
Look
to find
into
one
that.
that's willing to wake up.
Somebody who does it for free, too.
Oh, for free?
There's no budget for it.
Okay.
It's not like we have a budget of a show that's been on the air.
Right, no.
For
I just keep submitting reports and
7
they keep
years.
getting paid. So obviously we do have a budget.
Okay.
I just keep submitting reports and they're like, all right, paid.
So they've never
Wow.
rejected an expense report?
Knock on wood.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't it time for a
Pat?
Pat Gray Unleashed G550?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, it
I think
never
we need a
hurts to ask.
Gulfstream 550.
Send me the link.
Yeah,
I will tell
all
you
right.
one thing that ticks me off because you know how many times I've requisitioned an escalator for this building?
Uh-oh.
Probably a lot.
Multiple times.
Yeah.
And that has not arrived yet.
Or an elevator at least, right, for the handy-capable. People in wheelchairs cannot get to our second
Now,
level.
hang
they
on a
can.
second.
And I thought that was illegal.
Yeah, because the ADA
We're
thing,
grandfathered
right?
in.
Yes.
Yeah, we're
Hold on,
grandfathered
but
in now.
what year was this building?
Yeah, we're grandfathered in
erected?
from the. As long as we don't remodel or
Yeah.
fix, remodel.
Well,
anything.
we've remodeled
No,
a
we
lot.
haven't.
No,
we
I
have
mean,
not.
we have.
not
That's
remodeled.
right. We were
No, we
going
have
to,
not.
but then we didn't.
We've done. There may have been some tidy up
other
work.
guys.
Some tidy up work.
Okay.
Painted some
we
walls.
have not remodeled.
Yeah,
Right.
we have not remodeled.
Some of the walls had to go, but that was just part of tidying up.
We're ready for
Right.
some tidying up, but there's no construction happening.
Okay.
Well, it's a
No
good thing
remodeling.
that when Greg Abbott, our esteemed governor, visits, he's not interested in going upstairs.
That is a good thing.
Nothing up
Yes.
there for him anyway.
All right. He's busy securing our border, actually. And did you see that the apartment complex management in Colorado just confirmed? Yeah, vicious Venezuelan gangs have taken over several of our apartment complexes.
Not the whole city though. So
No,
don't even
that's
worry about
right.
it.
Yeah, that's right. This little manager who admitted it, you whiny little sissy. It's not every apartment complex in
Okay.
Colorado.
Okay.
It's just several. Stop exaggerating.
Incredible.
It is
I
incredible.
want Martha Raddatz from
incredible.
ABC News to interview this guy.
Yeah, I'd love that.
Yeah.
Well, the mayor said that's exaggerated. Greatly exaggerated.
Okay, well, all right. It's not all, and nobody said anyway that all apartment
Right.
complexes were taken
And
over.
and I do appreciate J.D. Vance going, Martha, listen to yourself.
Yeah. Are you hearing yourself? Only some have been taken over by Venezuelan gangs in America.
He called them immigrant.
Yeah.
He called them Venezuelan.
Right. Yeah. You don't want to disparage
not.
the great nation of
No, you do not.
Venezuela.
No,
Do you?
No, you don't.
You don't. You don't. All right. We will check in with the with chewing the fat with Jeffy coming up here in just a minute. Or two. Maybe three.
Maybe.
5 at the outside. All right, it's 6.
Unleashed.
I got a few tweets here. Hogasm tweets, Jeffy beat anorexia. Hogasm, he didn't just beat it. He slaughtered it.
That's a fact.
He committed genocide against anorexia. So, yeah.
I mean, it was a struggle.
I know.
It was a struggle.
And yet,
it's a terrible disease.
Right?
And
yes.
you
beat the crap out of it.
I beat it.
So congratulations.
There's a picture somewhere in the world with me with a I beat anorexia t-shirt after I beat
it. I love it. That's one of my favorite things. That and running for Pope every time it's appropriate. And sometimes when it's not appropriate.
No, there's never a time when it's
Honestly,
never appropriate.
You know what? Hold on. The current Pope has so sullied the office. Mm-hmm. It's always appropriate to bring Jeffy into the conversation.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Because the answer to, is the Pope Catholic? It's no, he's not.
I mean,
not really.
After my first run, they changed the rules, so they're trying to keep me out. But I'm fighting back.
Don't stand for that.
I'm trying not. I'm trying to fight against it.
And what's the name again? The Pope name that you want to take on?
Pope
Fatimus Maximus, isn't it?
No, it was Pope.
No,
Fatimus the First.
Pope. I can't remember the full.
Really?
My full Pope.
Don't worry about my
Pope
Pope
Fatimus.
name.
No, I can't remember. But it was sure for Fatimus. It was Pope Fatimus.
I thought it was Fatimus Maximus. No?
I thought so too. That's what I was thinking
I
too.
can go with that. That's fine.
All right. Putin on a Ritz.
Blow the white smoke. I'll give a name.
Tweets, congratulations to former President Carter for voting despite being nonverbal, unconscious, non-responsive, and immobile. It just shows that anything is possible in an election year.
No kidding.
Yep. Rowdy introvert. At this point, we can assume Jimmy Carter will be voting Democrat for at least the next few decades. Yeah, because the dead vote. He's not actually dead, however. Stand-up Chuck
say so.
tweets, so the Georgia judge would rather have national chaos than administrative chaos with the voting process?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And lo and behold, tweets, if they use tax money for the payouts, wouldn't the recipients technically be making money off the backs of other black tax-paying citizens and potentially themselves? Yeah, don't think that through. Don't submit too much thought to the process, okay? Just know that reparations are appropriate and are being studied.
Okay.
All right.
And before we go, we were talking about the manager in Aurora, Colorado.
All right.
Here's a picture of a manager that refused to pay 50-50 to the Venezuelan
He got
gang.
the crap beat out of him.
He got
goodness.
beat up.
All right. But while this is true,
Okay.
not every apartment manager in the nation got the crap beat out of them.
Correct.
So I don't want to
What
hear
are you, ABC
I don't want
News
to
now?
show me a bloody picture of one guy.
What are you, ABC
Right.
News now?
All right, let's chew the fat with Jeffy.
Nobody supports who is more than him. He often expresses so on the whim. Keep that bougie sauce off his plate.
Right.
Heinz ketchup only, there's no debate. There's tons of fun and that's a fact. It's time for Jeffy to chew the fat. Chew the fat.
And by the way, it's Pope Obesius Fatimus the first.
Okay. Obesius
Fatimus.
Fatimus.
Yes,
Good. I like that.
just remember.
Very catchy.
All right. There hasn't been an Obesius Fatimus yet?
No.
Out of all the popes for the last
Not official.
As far as I know.
We're talking about
1,800 years or whatever, there's not one.
As far as I know, there's not been one Obesius Fatimus.
I want you to check that. You should fact check
Okay,
that.
all right, I will.
All right.
We can all feel a little bit safer today. A woman who wanted to smuggle 29 turtles across a lake and into Canada by hiding the creatures using socks in a duffel bag has pleaded guilty to a smuggling charge. The eastern box turtles are a protected species and have vivid orange and yellow markings atop a dark brown shell. And they're sold on the black market in China, according to the Associated Press, for $1,000 each. So, I mean, $29,000, is that worth the smuggle? I guess it is. Her name, Ng, N-G, Wayne Yi Ng, prepared to enter the kayak in Vermont there was a whole sting going on because the Royal Canadian Mounted Police notified the Border Patrol agents that the 2 other individuals had launched an inflatable watercraft on the Canadian side of the lake, and the 2 turned out to be Ng's husband and another person. Ng was arrested in Vermont as she was about to enter her inflatable kayak with the bag of 29 eastern box turtles and paddle across the lake. She pleaded guilty to the single count of attempting to smuggle eastern block turtles, faces up to 10 years in prison, a $250,000 fine. No word on Wayne Yi Ng's husband and friend being arrested in Canada, though, so she'll be sentenced in December. The Turtle Survival Alliance, I love them. It's a conservation organization, describes the turtle as vulnerable because of habitat destruction and fragmentation, road and railroad mortality, disease transmission, and collection for personal use and illegal pet trade. The federal government, according to this story, has arrested a number of people over the last year for allegedly trying to smuggle the turtles to China.
Good.
I mean, I can't imagine a world without turtles in it. How would we get by?
If turtles weren't so stupid, they wouldn't put straws in their noses. When I see a straw, I put it in my mouth. Straws don't belong there, but the turtles don't know why. So maybe they all deserve to die.
Can I get Jeffy just real quick? I was actually at that lake a week ago, and it's like in the middle of nowhere. And I thought, how easy would it be to just cross between these countries? How did this lady get busted? It is in the middle of nowhere.
Well,
Lake Walz.
There's a big sting going on between the Royal Canadian Police and the Border Patrol. Yeah.
Okay.
Did you not see the Border Patrol hanging out there?
Did not see anything there. Yeah, right.
For those of you that love holiday candles, like the ones at Bath and Body Works, how about that snowed in? The soy wax blend candle had a label with what appears to be stylized paper snowflake, but critics online said it reminded them of white hoods worn by the KKK. A spokesperson for the company released a statement saying the similarity was completely unintentional.
I agree. I bet it was, but how do you miss it?
I don't know. We're committed to listening to our teams and customers and committed to fixing any
quality
mistakes.
Control anymore?
I guess not. No, listen. Hey, they say that we're swiftly working to have this item removed, and we're evaluating our process going forward.
I want to buy one so bad.
I know.
I love if you see the plenty of all the comments were. If you see KKK hoods on the BBB candle, you are the problem, not the candle. Okay. I would say that's not true. Because, I mean, while I guess if it was a little kid cutting a snowflake, you'd say that's just a little kid making a snowflake. But a company, it absolutely looks like a
As soon as the
Clandle.
picture came up, that's what I thought.
Yeah, it looks like a clandle with a K, or the Clan Christmas candle with K's. Really, I mean, it's funny, but
I'm not seeing it for sale on eBay, Chris.
I don't. I don't know how you make it through the Bed Bath, or it's not Bed Bath and Beyond. It's the Bath and
Body Works.
Bath and Body Works evaluating process. I'm not sure how that happens.
But there's other snowflakes that you could have used.
Yeah.
Why that
Oh
one?
yes. Yeah. Oh yes.
Weird.
It's interesting. Today's Chewing the Fat segment brought to you by Kexi Cookies.
Oh.
Simply the best cookies on the planet. Great anytime you have them.
It's true. That's very true. I just fact checked it. It's true.
Is it really?
You did?
Yeah. Yes. By the way,
the Halloween box is sold out.
Yeah, the Halloween box,
back?
but we still have the Halloween cookies. I think you can get them in a box of 12 or whatever.
Oh, okay, good.
So
I like that.
I think you
good.
can. I think the bread, if it's not already sold out, the pumpkin bread thing, so delicious.
What time do you guys open the doors over there?
Like 8?
Well,
ish.
I'm pretty sure the internet is open 24 hours a day, 7
right,
days
you could
a week,
order
so
right
you
now
just go to
at Kexi.com, KEKSI.com.
That is a fair point.
Yeah, it
By
is.
the way, how much would you pay for those candles, Chris?
Oh, I'll pay. $80. That's the highest I'll pay.
Well, eBay, somebody's got them listed for $300.
Nice.
They're not going to get that.
No, they won't. But they'll get a couple hundred.
They'll get a couple hundred.
Yeah. But there should be or best offer. They do have or best offer. Yeah. Okay.
That's awesome. So just put in your bid. Chris will go with it. $80.
I'll send you the link.
All right.
Speaking of Halloween, last week we told you the top Halloween-obsessed states from Backyard Oasis study, California, New York, Texas, Florida, and Illinois were the top 5. Survey this week from Lawn Love shows over half of Americans decorate for Halloween. They surveyed over 1,000 U.S. adults about their Halloween decorating plans, budgets, pumpkin carving habits, and more. 96.95% of those aged 25 to 34 are celebrating Halloween, outpacing the younger crowd, but not by much, though, 93.18%. Younger adults are more likely to host Halloween parties. Higher income households, the rich that don't pay their fair share, are nearly 2 times as likely to host Halloween gatherings. Men are blowing up the competition with 35.5% going big and decorating with inflatable figures compared to only 29.6%. I mean, that's a man thing. We need those blow up inflatable figures. Women, and this is the best part of the study, women are more likely to handle cleanup quickly. Yeah. Get to it. Okay. Yeah, we all know that. That is not part of the study. We know that has to happen. And 43% of the people decorate specifically for trick-or-treaters. One thing they won't have is the largest pumpkin of the year. Travis Gunger of Anoka, Minnesota, beat his closest competitor by 6 pounds to clinch the victory of the 51st World Championship Pumpkin Weigh-Off in Half Moon Bay, south of San Francisco. The Minnesota horticulture teacher remained the reigning champion Monday in the annual pumpkin weighing contest in Northern California. His winning gourd came in at 2,471 pounds.
Over a ton. Wow.
Falling short of the world record that he set last year, coming in at 2,749 pounds. So then his family drove the gourd to California, and here's the celebration in Moon Bay. His next stop, he's going to have 3D professional carvers carve it for a big Halloween event in Southern California. And it was a...
you could make pumpkin pie for an entire third world nation with that.
Yes, you can.
Hey, go back one picture, Joe. That should be your next Chevy or Ford pickup truck commercial.
No doubt.
Yes.
Driving that thing around.
Yeah.
No doubt. Wow. Awesome. Then in Bay Village, Ohio, we have a pumpkin gone wild. A police officer was swallowed up by a runaway inflatable pumpkin that had been terrorizing the neighborhood and blocking the road. And you can see here as he's coming up on the giant inflatable pumpkin. Luckily, no officers apparently were harmed in the taking down of this pumpkin. And it has been returned to the owner.
It's too bad it's not facing us.
Well, it ends up facing us. Yeah, through the whole video, you'll see the police officer. Yeah,
here it comes.
You see the police officer go to try to. This is the horror. This is the horror. Oh no! He gets swallowed up.
Ate the cop.
Yes. Oh, it's very sad.
No!
Very, very sad.
Officer down.
Very sad.
You don't call that in.
Well, you do, because there's another. If you, in the video, you see another police officer show up, and they finally get it wrangled in.
Do they shoot it? Do they shoot it dead?
No, they don't. They return it to. I don't. Well, you know what? They didn't say.
Knife it?
They said
that's
they
a good
returned it to the homeowner. I don't know if they said police officers weren't harmed. I don't know if the
He's laughing
inflatable
his butt
pumpkin was harmed.
Okay.
So there's that.
I'm glad they
to worry
got
about.
that taking that menace off the
there's
street,
that.
literally.
Yeah.
Back to blue, baby.
Back to blue. So be sure to subscribe to my daily podcast, Chewing the Fat, available wherever you listen to your podcast. Rate and review where possible. Chewing the Fat with Jeff Fisher. Between now and the end of October, astronomers say a pair of comets known as Tsuchishan, Atlas, and C2024S1 will be visible in the skies above Earth. So this is the first currently reaching peak brightness, and then can be spotted around much of the world. More comets flying around the Earth, and comets can be found in all corners of our universe. But those near us, our cosmic neighborhood, are thought to have originally come from Oort cloud. Though unproven, scientists have speculated for well over half a century about this icy area surrounding the solar system and supposedly stretches out trillions of miles and produces countless comets. You don't have to worry, according to the experts. Shushan Atlas and C2024 S1 should not strike the planet. So
good.
Good
All
there.
right.
Good there.
So which direction will they be?
Up.
Up. Okay.
Up.
We should look up.
Just look up
to try to see.
Just look up.
Okay.
I mean, we've had super moons and other second
yesterday?
moons and everything
Yeah.
flying around. It's crazy.
my
Yeah. Really
it's been
bright,
gorgeous.
beautiful,
It was
really cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We could stay in space. In 1996, NASA's Hubble revealed the hourglass shape of a young planetary nebula about 8,000 light years away. Previous ground-based images only showed large rings, but Hubble provided finer details. The planetary nebulae form when the sun-like stars die, collapsing into white dwarfs while shedding outer layers to create a gas and dust cloud. And this nebula is unique because its central star is oddly off-center. I mean, it looks like a giant eye. In the nebula, it discovered the unexpected features like intercepting elliptical rings and intricate etchings on the walls, possibly remnants of shells ejected by the star in its younger years. And then we also have they launched a mission to one of Jupiter's moons. Europa Clipper mission they just launched with the SpaceX rocket NASA, and it's supposed to go up to the Jupiter moon to see if it has life. It's going to be there by 2031. We'll know right around the corner. We'll find out. And we'll see if there's any living organism there. And if the project confirms the suspicions, then we're going to send a probe to the surface after 2031. So we'll know right around the corner. Back to Earth. We got a lot of sports going on. Sure, we've got MLB and the heat of the battle going to the World Series. Could have the Subway Series. Could have coast-to-coast series with the Yankees and the Dodgers. Yes, I'm dismissing the Guardians. WNBA championship is still going on, I think. NHL is up and skating, but NFL is going full bore. But college football is awesome.
Reigns supreme
is awesome.
With us.
Yeah. Is awesome. Texas number 1 in the country in the AP poll. Oregon coming in at number 2 after their great win against Ohio State Saturday night, which was awesome. BYU ranked 13th. Should actually be higher, in my opinion.
Yes,
but,
mine too.
They're undefeated.
Definitely top 10.
Taking on Oklahoma State Friday night in Provo. Should be fun.
Who does Missouri have?
Auburn.
And how about Nebraska?
Indiana.
Indiana's ranked 16th.
Unbeaten Indiana.
That's right.
Army,
Navy. Both in the AP top 25.
Yeah.
First time since 1960. Both undefeated. Awesome.
They probably don't play till December, though, right? Yeah. All right, there is much more where this came from. Coming up.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
Pat Gray is here on the Blaze Radio Network.
With some tweets for you. Timothy Lanham1 tweets, no, it's not several apartment complexes being taken over by Venezuelan gangs. It is a handful of apartment complexes. Can Jeffy show us a visual with his hand, what a handful of apartment complexes looks like? Now, you don't want to spoil the hand map in that way. Right? I can tell by the look on your face.
Right.
The hand map is sacred. You don't mess with it.
A hand map is sacred.
Yeah. You don't
so
mess with
only
that.
if the apartment complex was designed in the shape of Michigan would we get that.
Yes. Right. Sorry, Timothy. That's just not doable.
This happened in Colorado, right? So this is Colorado.
Okay, got it.
Aurora. It's like, isn't that a Denver
So it
suburb?
would be right there.
Yeah, okay. In a tin can tweets, so Canadian law enforcement catch eastern box turtles illegally crossing the border.
I know.
But we can't stop millions of people.
I know. I know.
Yeah, that's an issue. From Zombie Wolf.
All right.
Might need the Jackie specs for this.
Oh, no.
Yeah, small print here. And greetings from Bangkok, Thailand.
All right.
Still catching the show. Only y'all's at night here. And I have my lovely wife to listen with. God bless you, Pat, Chris, Jeffy, and the crew. Thank you. Very nice.
So the
That's
joke,
sweet.
So the joke I said earlier, it's not. I said a lady boy, but he said wife. Never mind.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Right.
It's 7 o'clock. So it's 12 hours.
12 hours exactly?
Yeah.
So it's 7 at night.
So with the prime time, the late night show in Thailand? Nice.
Cool.
Yeah, that's great. Bloomberg editor-in-chief John Micklethwaite.
Love him.
Yeah.
Sat down with Donald Trump at the Chicago Economic Club yesterday.
This was a fun gathering.
Now, Kamala Harris was also invited to hang out and discuss the economy, but here was the opening of that event.
The first is just for the record and for those people watching on television, the Economic Club of Chicago.
Pause it. Should have known with a name like Micklethwaite.
Yes.
He's British.
Absolutely.
Surprise! All right, let's let Mr. Micklethwaite finish.
The first is just for the record and for those people watching on television, the Economic Club of Chicago and Bloomberg both invited Vice President Harris to a similar interview about her economic plans that she has declined so far.
Ooh. Well, she's got Charlamagne.
Okay.
No, so
well, yeah.
As we're playing these clips of Trump going through justification for tariffs and the economy writ large, just imagine Kamala Harris in this forum trying to answer.
And we got her with Brett Baer tonight, right?
Yes.
So
should be fun.
Should be.
I mean, I hope,
except she's not going to answer any questions.
Right. We're back to what we've talked about so many times before.
She's got her talking points.
How long do you let her get away with not answering the question before you just move on?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
right.
How many times do you say?
How many do you ask?
Right, because now you're losing the time you have with her.
Yeah,
it's agonizing.
Question 1: if Donald Trump is declared the winner of the 2024 election, and your role as vice president, will you certify the election results? Yes or no?
That's a good.
That's the only question she needs to be asked from here on out until she answers it.
So here's what Trump had to say about tariffs.
Let's come back to the Europeans in a second. What about consumers? People out there.
They're going to be the biggest beneficiaries.
Yeah, critics say your tariffs will end up being like a national sales tax.
Nope. The countries will pay.
If you have America at the moment has $3 trillion worth of imports. You're going to add tariffs to every single one of them. That is going to push up the cost for all those people who want to buy foreign goods.
Now, what's going to
That is just
happen?
simple mathematics, President Trump.
It's not. It is, but not the way you figure it. I was always very good at mathematics.
Yes.
Let me tell you, you're saying $3 trillion. Those companies,
$3 trillion worth of
and they don't have to pay. And the higher the tariff, the more likely it is to have them come into the country.
The higher the tariff, the more you're going to put on the value of that piece, those goods, the higher people are going to pay in shops.
Ready? The higher the tariff, the more likely it is that the company will come into the United States and build a factory in the United States so it doesn't have to pay the tariff.
That will take many
No, it will go quickly.
Years.
In fact, I'll tell you, there's another theory is that the tariff, you make it so high, so horrible, so obnoxious that they'll come right away. When I do the 10%, 10% is
this
really...
is a theory I like.
First of all, 10%, when you collect it, is hundreds of billions of dollars. The numbers that you're talking, all reducing our deficit.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. And they had further discussion on tariffs. And
You're also talking about
like
10, 20% tariffs on the rest of the world. That is going to have a serious effect on the overall economy. And yes, you're going to find some people who will gain from individual tariffs. The overall effect could be massive in terms of the economy.
I agree it's going to have a massive effect, positive effect. It's going to be a positive, not a negative.
Well,
let me just tell you. Let me tell you. I know how committed you are to this, and it must be hard for you to spend 25 years talking about tariffs as being negative and then have somebody explain to you that you're totally wrong. It'll have a negative. It will have. I'll go a step further.
40 million, President Trump, 40 million jobs is a lot of jobs to rely on.
They're all coming back.
Those are 40 million jobs. Those are 40 million jobs in America that rely on trade.
Are you ready? John Deere, great company. They announced about a year ago they're going to build big plants outside of the United States, right? They're going to build them in Mexico.
And you threatened them
They're
with
also going
tariffs
to build.
and they stopped.
That's right. I said, if John Deere builds those plants and not selling anything into the United States, they just announced yesterday they're probably not going to build the plants. I kept the jobs here.
Take that. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Then, is this guy, who is this?
Okay, so this guy.
Oh, it's Micklethwaite. Right, we established that. But he had an economist on, right?
Well, no. So after this long discussion, we have more of the clips from Trump at the Chicago Economic Forum there. Afterward on CNBC, the next clip we're going to play is of Howard Lutnick. Now, Howard Lutnick, an economist, so on, he is the co-chair of the transition team. So as you're watching this guy explain tariffs, this is one of the head guys that would help transition into a new Trump term.
When you talk to the former president about tariffs, do you see it as a bargaining chip, or do you think you're going to see tariffs across the board of 20%?
I think we should put tariffs on stuff we make and not put tariffs on stuff we don't make. It's pretty simple. And of course it's a bargaining chip. We can't sell a Ford or GM in Europe. You go to Europe, you can't sell a Ford or GM. Why? There's 100% tariffs. How about in Japan? 100% tariffs. So do you think if we said, we're going to tariff you the way you tariff us, do you think they're going to allow Mercedes and all these Japanese companies and Porsches and BMWs to all of a sudden have 100% tariffs in America? Of course not. They're going to come and negotiate, and their tariffs are going to come down. And finally, Ford and General Motors are going to be able to sell in these places.
How's that sound?
Of course they're going to come down. Of course. This is just negotiating.
It absolutely makes sense. If you do it strategically, if it's across the board, it creates a real problem. And the question is whether you believe the president is going to do it strategically or across the board. He keeps saying it across the board.
Well, when you're running for office, you make broad statements so people understand you. Right. Okay? Tariffs are an amazing tool by the president to use. They're an amazing tool, but he understands don't tariff stuff we don't make. Right? If we don't make it and you want to buy it, I don't want to put the price up there. It's pointless. But use tariffs to build in America. If we want to make it in America, tariff it. Or if we're competing with it, tariff it. But you got to remember, we need to protect the American worker. Finally, someone's going to protect the American worker. And Donald Trump is here to protect the American worker.
Do you think we make a lot of money in tariffs, or if they're used as negotiating tactics? Look, tariffs will come down there. We're not going to have super high tariffs here either. There's not going to be a big pot of money at the end of the day.
I love that story. So which is it? Do we make a lot of money on tariffs, or we bring productivity here and we drive up our workers here? So it's a win-win scenario. I like both of them. I think what's going to happen is we'll make a bunch of money on the tariffs, but mostly everybody else is going to negotiate with us, and we will be more fair. In 1948,
listen to this.
Right, we came up with something called the Marshall Plan, right? The world, Germany and Japan were destroyed after World War II, and we wanted to export our economy to them. So we made a rule. They could tariff us, and we won't tariff them. So they can rebuild.
This is the best explanation I've heard of.
So they can rebuild their economy. We rebuilt their economy using something called the Marshall Plan. Our economy is so awesome that we'll use it to help you rebuild.
Wow.
When should that have ended? What do you think, 1980? Right? 1985? I mean, why 40 years are Japan and Germany and all of Europe still tariffing the heck out of our auto industry, tariffing the heck out of our furniture industry? Do you realize all your furniture you're buying that's made foreign? It seems crazy. Why? It's because they tariff us and we don't tariff them. It's so obvious.
Interesting.
Very.
It's a pretty compelling case for tariffs.
Sure is.
And let's talk about, LBJ and the chicken tax. That's why I can't even consider getting an Isuzu pickup truck here, because there's a 25% tariff added to it. Thank you, LBJ. I mean, a lot of these tariffs just become ingrained and never go away and have nothing to do with their original intent. But what I would like to see is like a toll road, right? I would like...
like an income tax.
Or an income tax, right?
It's supposed to be temporary.
That's what I was about to say. I want to see tariffs, if they're going to go up, I want that this inverse going down on my income tax.
That'd be nice.
Okay, because if I'm going to pay, right?
This is going to go into something I'm sure I don't want it to go into, but What does a chicken have to do with your Isuzu pickup truck?
Because, exactly. Thank you, government. Thank you, federal government. And thank you, Jeffy, for inquiring. So back in the 60s, Europe was putting tariffs on our chickens, on the poultry industry. And so in retaliation, we said, we'll do the same. Plus on foreign small pickup trucks.
Okay.
So now you have auto companies manufacturing trucks in a very strange way to get around that tax. I mean, it's just ridiculous. But he's right. It's a tool. It's a tool more than anything, right? And in competent hands, it could work.
Yes.
Yes.
Stopping right there.
If the American people understand it, if it's explained to them like Lutnick just explained it, then it makes some sense to people. But all they're hearing is the opposite of that. And so they're going to be scared of tariffs and Donald Trump, because that's what the left does.
We used to get by in this country, and I'll make this quick, Jeffy, with tariffs and not an income tax.
Yeah.
That's how we were taxed.
And the colonists were pissed off about that.
Yeah.
They were angry at the paper tax and the Stamp Act and all of those things to the point where they revolted. I mean, there were some other things involved too, but a lot of it was taxation.
A penny.
Taxation
2
without
cents.
representation. Yeah, it was so low. I mean, we would love something like that today.
Bro,
jeez.
You walk around Boston and see all these historic sites from the Revolutionary War period, and you go to Concord, Massachusetts, and you're like, boy,
they had it good.
They would
had
be
it so
Oh my
they would be
gosh.
so pissed at us for letting this government get to where it is now.
They really would. So Trump also, this was back in the Bloomberg thing, right?
Yeah, we're going back to it,
discussing China and Taiwan.
Yep.
Here he is.
You have said that Taiwan should pay for U.S. protection.
Yeah.
I ask because this morning you just mentioned North Korea. The Chinese army, literally as we speak, are engaged in rehearsals for a full naval blockade of Taiwan. So I suppose my question to you, if China invades Taiwan, would you send American troops to defend them?
There's no R in the word China. Okay? Can we just establish that fact? I know that's not necessarily the point of this. No.
Okay.
I'm not Micklethwaite. But there is this much I do know, there is no R in the word China.
Yeah.
It is not China. It's China.
I'm just upset he's not giving us an of sorts.
Oh, yeah, I know. That's a bummer, too.
I need that.
But here's the rest.
Send American troops to defend it.
Well, the reason they're doing it now is they're not going to do it afterwards, okay? So it's, so they're doing it now. They want to do it China. Look, I had a very good relationship with President Xi, and a very good relationship with Putin, and a very good relationship with Kim Jong-un, who has a nuclear force that you won't even believe.
Yeah. And
you won't even believe.
And Anna's already sending troops to Russia to help Russia with Ukraine.
Yeah, I just saw North Korea sending 10,000 troops. 10,000 troops, supposedly, to help the Russians. Wow. Things are really dicey right now.
They
How
are.
many days till we can hopefully avoid World War III? 96? Is that where we're at? 96 days left in this regime's reign of terror?
Please. Let it be just 96 days.
No kidding.
96 days, 4 hours, and 44 minutes with 40 seconds.
Okay.
Wasn't it just 90? I feel
It was
like
98 2 days ago. Chill, bro.
So they also discussed previous trade deals.
So they're taking a tremendous advantage of us, $350 billion on trade, and we're then supporting them. In other words, it's not sustainable. You can't keep doing this. You can't have that, China, all of these countries. And stupid people made these deals. I saw trade deals that were so stupid that you'd have to be, that were so bad that you'd have to be an idiot to sign them. And we signed them for years. We had, I could tell you trade deals that I have never seen anything. I said, who would agree to this? They had to be corrupt. They had to be corrupt. To make those deals, they had to be corrupt because there is no way a rational human being, I always say either corrupt or extremely stupid, because there's no way a rational human being would ever sign the trade deals that this country signed. And I got out of many of those deals.
Yeah. There you go.
Boy, the economy sure was good under him, if I recall.
And you do recall.
They're either corrupt or really stupid. That's how I always say it.
I love it.
This
Love
was
that.
vintage Trump.
Yeah,
yesterday.
that was. It really was. Really was. And we've got a couple of more great clips from him. We'll get to those in just a minute. But, if you're thinking about buying or selling your home, or maybe you're doing both, you're relocating, you need a great realtor. Your realtor is going to save you a lot of money and make you a lot of money once the sale happens. If you're left to your own devices and, you're not a real estate agent, you don't really know the market, you haven't studied, you don't hang out with buyers, you're going to make some serious mistakes. And who knows if you'll get what you want to get out of your house. Make sure you've got a great realtor. We've already taken care of all of the research for you. We've got the best realtors in every market across the country. Or if we couldn't find a great realtor in a certain area, we didn't have one there. So these have all been vetted by Glenn's people. Real Estate Agents I Trust is the name of the company. Just go to realestateagentsitrust.com. It's a free service that we provide to you. They're fans of the show. They are going to have a lot in common with you, and it's hopefully going to be a great experience for you. realestateagentsitrust.com. realestateagentsitrust.com.
Living up the end of the world. Pat Gray returns next.
Welcome to it. 888-900-3393. Pat Unleashed on Twitter. Just having a rousing discussion on college football.
And I just realized while we were talking, I was talking as if Texas was a Big 12 team.
Yeah, they're not.
Yeah, they're not.
They're SEC now.
Yeah. Right. That's what I was kind of wondering. Well, what do you mean? Would
never gonna
BYU play Texas? They're not going to. They wouldn't play until the playoffs.
Playoffs, right.
Yeah. Playoffs.
But they might play in the playoffs.
They might.
What I love, and I see this every time BYU is good. Every time they have a good season going, opposing coaches, and Gundy just did it this week because we play Oklahoma State. They throw out the age factor.
Oh, shut up.
Every time.
Gundy did not. Did he really say something?
Yeah, they use euphemisms like, it's a very mature team. It's the most mature team.
Oh, boy.
This is a mature team, or these are grown men.
He knows he's going to get his ass kicked. That's why.
Yeah. Like it's almost unfair that they have grown men playing against
Oklahoma
my
State
guys.
is not as good as they should be.
Barely out of middle school.
Yeah.
Some of these guys have wives and kids. They're eligible for Social Security benefits.
So do yours.
But first of all, if I might address this for just a moment, because it drives me out of my mind.
It's agonizing.
The average age of this year's team is like 21.6. 21 years old, 21 and a half years old. With the average age of players at other schools is 21 years old.
Okay.
Is 6 months a big deal?
Well, I mean, they are older.
Eligibility is eligibility. And if
There
Oklahoma
you
State,
go.
if they want to change their setup for football, then they could. They could
I
have
like
some
Gundy
artificial.
too. I like Gundy. I mean,
I like
do.
him too.
And they've always had really good teams. But he doesn't have a great team this year.
No,
and they're really struggling.
Yeah, and so he's making his excuses already.
Absolutely.
And the second thing is the reason for any age difference at all is because a lot of members of the team have gone on missions, right, for 2 years. So here we go. Yeah, because these kids devote 2 years of their lives to focus on Jesus and service to humanity, not football.
Jeffy,
they can't play football.
Mission,
they can't practice. They can't work out in any meaningful way. And who knows what they get to eat, depending on what country they're in. They might come out of some third world nation. They're in Uganda for 2 years. They're not getting great nutritional value out of it. So they come back, and they're out of shape. They don't have that killer mindset. And a lot of times they don't even play because you can't shake off that mission rust.
Right.
So it's been, by the time they do get back to playing football, it's been 3 years. Are you telling me that's an advantage? No. It's insanity.
I don't know that I'd heard.
Pisses me
I don't
off.
know that I'd heard the excuse Mission Rust.
I love that. That's a good band name right
that's
there.
a good one, yeah.
That is a band name
And
waiting to happen.
It's also true.
Sure.
Plus,
I'm not arguing with it. I'm
the
just
last thing is on this. If it's such a big advantage, why isn't every team in college football doing it?
Yeah.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
Georgia and Alabama should be sending their players to Uganda and Brazil for 2 years and tell them you can't practice.
So
You can't play.
they're not doing that. We're
But
pretty
they're
sure about
not
that.
doing that, I'm
Okay,
pretty
yeah,
sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so I don't want to hear your mature discussion about BYU.
I know you don't need me to tell you this, but just looking ahead here, your 6-0 Cougars from BYU, the next their last 6 games, nobody's ranked.
They're all winnable.
I know.
Yeah, they're winnable games.
Oh, definitely.
They're gonna.
Yeah. And it looked like, Utah would be
still
a ranked
Big
team.
12
They're
championship? Or
there's a Big 12
still
championship.
Big 12 championship, right? Yeah, because you got to win the conference.
So they'd probably play
Gotta win the
Iowa
conference.
State if they.
Oh yeah, Iowa State's really good. Yeah,
They're really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it could be Kansas State. They could crush them again.
Right. Yeah.
Wax them for the second time this season. That's possible.
I've always been a
We'll see.
big go Cougs.
Yeah, I
Go
see that.
Cougs.
Yeah, I see that.
Actually, I'm not ready to do that yet. We still have some hope in Lincoln.
Yeah, you've only lost once, right?
We lost once in overtime.
Fortunately, that doesn't eliminate you from playoff contention anymore.
Couple
That's great.
Big games, scary games coming up here though. Indiana, and Ohio State.
Unbeaten
Yeah.
Indiana. Ohio State next week?
Following that, yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Don't be looking ahead, boys.
Yeah. Right? Well, you can't afford to because Indiana's
No way.
I know.
Yeah, Indiana's great.
I know this.
We talked about Indiana last week because their coach is from James Madison. Right. They hired him.
Yeah, they brought him in. Remember, because we talked about him going, why would you? I questioned why he would go to Indiana. We talked about it still being in the Big Ten.
Yeah,
and they were even as a struggling university, it's in the Big Ten.
Right.
So they're still
Heck
got.
yeah.
And he's turning them around.
Big time.
Yeah.
They are 6-0 for the first time since 1967. This guy is quite
awesome.
Quite the football coach.
By the way,
maybe slightly better than even Tim Walz. I don't know if that were possible, but now I'm just getting ridiculous. Never mind. I withdraw that statement.
This is Pat Gray Unleashed.
And welcome to it. On Friday, celebrating 2,500-ish episodes of Pat Gray Unleashed. So join us for that epic celebration.
Do we have an estimate on how many Pat screams there has been over those episodes?
2,500.
Okay.
Ish.
Yeah, but ish, one per show. Mm-hmm. We got some more from Donald Trump, and he was vintage Donald Trump.
No question.
Yesterday for this. It was fun because
I know this must be hard for you because you've been seeing it wrong your entire life. So I'm going to set you
I
straight.
love that. I love it when he said that to the. I mean, and it was obviously
awesome.
A hostile environment because the guy wanted to hammer him on tariffs and whatever else.
But I mean, whether you agree with him or not, I mean, he's right there in the fire.
Mm-hmm.
Right there in the fire.
Yep.
Defending what he believes.
Right. Yep.
What do you want from that man?
What do you want? Here he is on inflation.
People are betting that your policies are going to drive up debt, they're going to drive up inflation, so they're going to drive up inflation interest rates. Are the investors wrong?
Yeah, I had 4 years no inflation.
Thank you.
I had 4 years no inflation.
But that was when you had much.
I had 4 years. It's better than that. And Biden, who has no idea where the hell he is, okay? Biden went 2 years with no inflation because he inherited from me. And then they started spending money like drunken sailors.
Yeah, it wasn't quite 2 years because a year and a half into his administration, it was 9%.
Right.
Yeah.
So he screwed up the economy he got pretty quickly.
And obviously, I would choose Donald Trump 100 times out of 100 over Kamala Harris. But we cannot forget the CARES Act and Thomas Massey standing up to the $2.2 trillion handout for COVID relief in March of 2020, which did not help inflation.
Right.
That's true.
But I mean, the overall body of work, 100%, you have to go with Trump on this.
No question. Then he went off script a bit, and here's that.
She came out, she just said, the Green New Scam. She just named all these things.
President Trump, the issue at the markets are looking at the fact you are making all these promises. Latest one was car loans. You're flooding the thing with giving giveaways.
But we're going to grow.
I was actually quite kind to you. I used 7 trillion. The upper estimate is 15 trillion. People like the Wall Street Journal, who's hardly a communist organization,
yeah, but you don't know.
They have criticized you on this as well. You are running up enormous debts.
What does the Wall Street Journal know? I'm meeting with them tomorrow. What does the Wall Street Journal know? They've been wrong about everything. So have you, by the way. You've been wrong.
You're trying to turn this. You're trying to turn this.
You've been wrong.
You're trying to turn this into debate.
That's so great.
There are
It's
business
not a debate.
people.
No,
There are
but
business
you're wrong.
people.
You've been wrong. You've been wrong all your life on this stuff. You've been wrong.
But see, screw what's his name? Nickelwitz?
Micklethwaite, Dinglewitz, whatever his stupid name is.
Yeah, screw you. You're the one turning it into a debate. You're either going to ask him questions and let him answer, or you're going to say, well, actually, it's this. If you're going to fact check on the fly, you just turned it into a debate, Nickelwitz.
Yep.
Yeah, and then the next clip, number 12, is a perfect example of this guy interviewing Trump that he just wants to attack Trump the entire time.
Okay.
How about this? Gavin Newscum, he's the governor of California.
Newsom.
He signed Newscum, I call him.
Thank you for correcting
me. He corrected me. I said, that's the first time I've been corrected.
There are CEOs out here. If they said those sort of things about a rival CEO, they'd be sacked. Do you think it's
but they
fine
don't
for
have
a
to
president?
survive like me. They don't have to go through what I have to go through. There's never been a president that's been treated like me, so I have to fight my own way.
You made a very good job of.
He signed a bill in California 2 days ago that you don't even have the right to ask a person for voter ID. Right. And if you ask a person for voter ID, of course you have to show voter ID. The only reason you wouldn't do, because they want to cheat. The bill says you cannot, it's against the law for you to ask a person, may I please see your voter ID when he votes? What is our country coming to?
Good question. That's a great question. Because, yes, we talked about that yesterday.
Yes.
They made it illegal in California to try to stop voter fraud. It's unbelievable.
It sure is.
And what would be the goal there? To cheat. That's the only goal I could think of. Why?
Yeah.
Why else? Why else would you not have people prove who they are when they show up at the voting booth?
It's embarrassing to people if they have to prove who they are.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, like, it's embarrassing to get on an airplane?
Yes.
For instance?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay.
It's embarrassing to buy cough syrup.
Yeah, I know.
What if I want to pick up tickets to a baseball game? I shouldn't have to show my ID.
You shouldn't have to. You shouldn't, because it's embarrassing, it's humiliating, and it's anti-minority.
Put up that fight when you go.
Yeah.
I don't need to see my ID. Just give me the tickets.
To get the tickets, you must show your ID. Which is more important, the voting process or going to a baseball game?
What game is it?
Come
going
on.
to a baseball game.
Well, I don't know. That's true. It depends. Is it a Braves game? Then you shouldn't have to show your ID.
No doubt.
Right.
Yeah, hitting close to home there. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So then Trump said that Republicans are the party of common sense. He's right about some ways.
This is a party, the Republican Party, of common sense. Forget about conservative, liberal. We're, let's say conservative, but we're really a party of, we need borders. We need fair elections. We don't want men playing in women's sports. We don't want transgender operations without parental consent. You know, there's so many things, but it's 99.9% is common sense.
Yeah.
It really is common sense.
It really is.
Yes, it is.
Wait. Okay.
The Dinglewitz.
Chris, you want to enunciate what I...
Let it go.
I'm supposed to let it go?
You have to let it go, bro. You have to let it go.
Why? What?
What
was the deal?
We don't want transgender surgeries without parental consent. How about we just full stop after transgender surgeries for kids, period?
Yeah. Well, but, I mean, it is common sense, and I think almost everybody can agree that at least the parents should know.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
right.
And
there should be consent there.
Yes,
the Trump campaign fixed the way that he said that. And that was the end of it right there.
Yeah.
Like, hey,
I'm not going
at
to
least-
nitpick. It just causes
Yes,
quick
But
pause,
you did.
and you're like, eh.
But you did, Nick.
Oh,
That's
shut
what you did.
Let it go, bro. You gotta let it go.
And so you want to tell parents that they can't do something with their children. That's nice of you. Appreciate it.
Hold on a second. Hold on. I have a problem with a nation where we have laws that you force kids to wear a bike helmet to go around the block. You don't need parental consent for that. You just better do it. Period. The parents have no
Which is
say in that one.
agonizing. Yeah, I know. No kidding.
Whatever.
And then we've got a candidate who not only is fine with the transgender surgeries, she wants taxpayers
Yes.
to pay for those surgeries.
And has had taxpayers
with felons,
pay
with
for it,
convicted felons who are in prison. And not only that, she insisted upon it because it's a movement. And she's the one that pushed that movement forward so that a convicted murderer could go from man to woman.
Kamala Harris
Unbelievable.
is for they, them. Donald Trump is for us.
Right. So good.
Perfect.
They should hammer that.
Yes, they should.
Interestingly, that's kind of what Ted Cruz has been hammering in his battle against Colin Allred, is the transgender thing. Because Allred apparently is fine with biological males playing against girls in sports in Texas.
Of course he is.
Yep. He's for a lot of things that are anti-Texas and anti-American. All right. How's your relationship with sleep? Do you find yourself struggling to fall asleep and stay asleep? Poor sleep can affect so many areas of life, not just feeling tired or low energy, but impacting your mood, your focus, and even how you feel physically. I've been there, tossing and turning, trying different sleep aids, but nothing really works until I found Beam's Dream Powder. Beam's Dream Powder is a game changer. It's a science-backed, healthy hot cocoa for sleep that's completely and will completely transform your nights. Not only is it delicious, but it's packed with natural ingredients like reishi, magnesium, melatonin. Just helps you fall asleep faster. It helps you stay asleep longer without that groggy feeling the next morning. My favorite flavor, cinnamon cocoa. Delicious. It's rich, it's comforting, and with only 15 calories and 0 grams of sugar, it's totally guilt-free. So if you're ready to improve your sleep, get up to 40% off Beam's Dream Powder right now by going to shopbeam.com/PatGray. Use the promo code PAT at checkout. That's shopbeam, B-E-A-M, shopbeam.com/PatGray to get up to 40% off.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
You guys been following the Sean Puffy, Puff Daddy, P. Diddy
A little bit.
Oh, heck yeah.
scandal?
A little bit. Yeah, it's Diddy, man. What are you talking about?
That's Diddy.
It's Diddy, baby.
Puff is done, but it's Diddy.
What's the big gala that they do coming up?
The white party.
The white party?
The white party.
Oh no, there's something.
Oh, the Met Gala.
Met Gala.
Yeah.
Okay, here's all I know about the Diddy thing. Well, you see headlines here and there. I just know that the day that happens in May is the first day of his trial.
Yeah, May 5th.
So you're going to have a lot of nervous people on the red carpet that
May
day.
5th, yeah.
It's going to be great.
Should be fun.
It's going to be great.
They were talking about the white party because his first accuser, I guess.
There's a bunch of them now. They're coming out of the woodwork.
But the one, he was a 16-year-old boy
Yeah.
at the time, and he went to this white party. I don't know what he was doing there. But he's identified only as John Doe.
Yeah, he was like an up and coming singer or performer that he knew someone that got him into the party. Anyway,
So he was making his way, this 16-year-old, making his way through the crowd, heading toward the restroom when he unexpectedly bumped into Puffy, P. Diddy, Sean Diddy Combs. Shocked, John Doe found himself face to face with Combs.
Yeah, he was right there. There's the man.
A titan in the music industry.
Yeah.
Standing right in front of him at his own party. So then the kid says, well, he's now, got to be close to 40 now. Combs took an interest in him, wanted to talk to him, so they walked to a more private area near the portable restrooms that were brought in for the party. There, John Doe told Combs he was a big fan and shared his dreams of becoming a star. Combs smiled, telling him he had the potential and the look. When John Doe admitted his voice was not great, Combs assured him, yeah, that doesn't matter.
About it.
Don't worry about that.
Fine.
Then he abruptly told John Doe that he needed to drop his pants.
Oh. Whoa, that's
so
this is what John Doe is alleging.
That takes quite a turn if this is true.
Things escalated.
So he was allegedly caught completely off guard and asked Diddy to repeat himself. I'm sorry, excuse me. Could you say that again? Yeah, drop your pants. You're going to need to drop your pants.
And he did.
So that Combs could inspect him.
And he did.
Explaining that it's a rite of passage.
No.
And the route to becoming a star, and also a way to prove himself. And so, yes, he did.
And he did.
He claims out of fear, anxiety, and,
of course.
And my favorite. This is my favorite. The imbalanced power dynamic.
Power dynamic.
That's
there
exactly what he was thinking.
There it is.
So John Doe then dropped his pants and exposed himself as Combs previously instructed. I'm sorry. The power dynamic.
Come on.
When you're a 16-year-old male, you're thinking, oh, Sean Combs has made a lot of money and people know his name, so I have to drop my pants. I will guarantee you this. When I was 16 years old, I would have said, no, thank you, and left the party. No, I'm not dropping my pants.
I'm not going out on that limb, but you go ahead.
Thank you, Fisher. Thank you for saying it. We were all thinking it.
Yeah, so everybody else, you're dropping your pants?
Yeah, everybody's dropping their pants.
This is such nonsense. Really? The power dynamic?
Yeah. And then he talked
he
about
didn't work for him?
No, he talked about the...
None of that.
None of that. And he talked about Diddy's inspection process. Allegedly continued on with the process.
No, honey.
Awesome.
No.
Gosh, man.
And there's big talk. I mean, he's obviously, still. The judge has said no, you're not getting out. They're still fighting, trying to get him out on bail. That is not happening. The judge.
He's not even. Is there a bail number that's even been?
No, they've offered a bunch, and they've said no, and now they're.
So it's not
taking
even
it to
like
a
$5
higher,
million.
They've
None
taken
of that.
it to a higher court.
Like
no.
I do like the way that the lawyers are saying that one of the reasons why Diddy needs to be let out is because of the nutritional values of the meals are not up to his standards.
Oh, I'm sure they're not.
So, and waking up too early, breakfast is at this time, he doesn't like it at that time. Lunch is at this time, he doesn't like it at that time. And the meal choices are not that great. I'm like, bro, you're in prison.
Yeah,
relax.
Well, that's
you're not at
right.
Airbnb. Like, come on.
And I honestly don't know the second question answer here, but P. Diddy didn't murder anyone, right?
Not that we know of.
That we know of. Did
Not
he threaten
proven.
to kill anyone? Is that right?
His ex-wife.
I think there might be threats
His ex.
there, and there were.
Did he,
obviously, there's he's done harm.
So has he threatened to kill a sitting president or former president of the United States?
As far as I know, no.
Okay, so he's going to stay behind bars.
That's correct.
But yet we let a guy go 5 minutes after he allegedly threatened Donald Trump's life. That's what I heard. And then they let him go on $5,000 bail and say, we'll see you in January.
$5,000.
Yeah,
$5,000.
That's what I...
Now, it does turn out, apparently the guy is a Trump supporter, right?
Right. That's why I'm saying.
Yeah.
He, according to local law enforcement, he threatened Donald Trump's life.
Right. And it's still out.
But he's out. So something's not adding up.
I mean,
there.
in today's world, that guy's lucky to be alive. I mean, a lot of times they just show up at your house and kill you.
True.
But to your point, Pat.
I'm sorry, to serve a warrant.
People that know him very well are saying, this guy loves Trump. There's not a chance that he was there to cause harm to him.
Right.
So what's this? And shame on me for violating my first rule. It doesn't matter what level of government.
Question it all.
Question the government line of every story.
Yeah. I questioned this whole Iran thing. I mean, all of it, because it just makes me feel like...
What Iran thing?
That they were the ones behind the threats to Trump's life and have been behind it.
Always question, regardless of the level of government, that sheriff's department is still an arm of government in California.
True.
And they are the ones that said the threat was made. And they're the ones that said we avoided something really bad. I mean, when it's that over the top, you got to go, okay, let me look into this a little bit more. And so hopefully this guy can, if he's innocent of this, then I hope that this becomes very obvious.
Well, we've heard from people who know him, who are friends with him, who are business partners with him. And they've all said, no, he's a huge Trump fan. There's nothing to this. So,
and he was an invitee. He was invited, and he got the invitation from the Nevada GOP chairperson. Like,
yeah, it doesn't. To me, it doesn't look like this was
right.
an attempted assassination. No, it's not at all.
But he had these weapons with him, right?
He did have weapons.
Yeah.
So,
I know.
It's circumstantial.
I know.
Right?
It's America.
I mean,
it is. Well, last time
he made the mistake of going into California with those weapons is the problem.
Yes.
So maybe not the smartest of Trump
the only
supporters.
people from California that get to have guns is Kamala Harris.
I'll take that.
And given what has transpired in the last 2 months with 2 attempts on Trump's life, I'm not bringing a weapon to a rally.
Correct.
Even if it's legal.
But, maybe that's just me. Maybe real gun enthusiasts are like, I'm not.
This is America.
I'll take it wherever I want.
Right.
Okay.
And honestly, though, if you do, there's just some interesting stuff with the different aliases and stuff that I'm not quite clear on. And he may have addressed those, and I just didn't see this.
Yes.
I know got some information on this?
So the problem was that everybody's saying, well, his name is not Venn diagram, whatever he goes by social media.
Oh, there you go.
And everybody's like, yes, my driver's license does not say Venn diagram. That's my handle. So everybody's saying, oh, well, he has a different name. He goes by a different name. Yeah, that's his legal. By the way, my real name is not Chris Cruz. I'm just going to put that out there. It's Christian Robles. So,
you lying bastard. Oh, wow.
I can't even.
Wow. I can't. Yeah. How have we allowed this person in the studio with us? How have we allowed that?
And I honestly, I'm gonna come clean as well. I went with the easy to say, spell, and remember Malinak.
Yeah.
It's my fake name. No, but there's so much. There's so much here with this, and again, the weapons in the vehicle. That just
doesn't mean anything.
That doesn't mean.
Does not mean anything.
People just are comfortable and used to it. I'm trying to figure out a way to say this. Like, I got admonished by not admonished, but where I'd go and get my oil changed, and there was a gun that was just in plain sight, and he's like, "Hey, I don't trust my guys. Can we please put that somewhere else?" I'm like, yeah. So I'm saying you could drive around,
with weapons.
Yeah,
Jeez, in Montana, I went to school in Montana. About half of the students that went to Capitol High School had a gun rack in their truck.
Yes, I remember
it's the
that.
main streets.
Yes.
You don't need to
It's the main streets, yes. You did have to be armed, but still. I mean, it's a big hunting area, and everybody had rifles and guns, and they were out in the parking lot, and nobody got expelled for it, and nobody shot up the school. I don't know what's happened, but we've completely gone down the drain since then. I mean, it's inconceivable that you would have a gun rack at a truck in a high school parking lot now, right?
Oh my gosh! Just a rack. Just a rack in the window.
SWAT teams would show up.
Yes,
the Marines would show up.
School again.
Yeah, you'd be.
You suspended
expelled.
Forever. Yes,
Chris, you're saying, and I'm just gonna be clear and say I think we're all giving this guy the benefit of the doubt.
We are
100% on this.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes.
For now.
For now. Yeah, let's get some more evidence that's more damning than.
And to be fair, we're also giving Tim Walz the benefit of the doubt right now because there are some allegations against him swirling on the internet.
And I want to talk about them so bad, but hey,
I do too.
We're going to give them the benefit of the doubt.
But we're going to wait.
Yes, we are.
And see what happens with it.
And speaking of Tim Walz, Chris says we have a clip here that might fit in with this gun discussion. 14,
all right.
Clip 14, Joe.
I think this is true. I think this might be the first Democratic ticket where both the president and the vice president are gun owners this time. So that's something.
Yeah, that's right.
He's
also dressed like Elmer Fudd.
He is.
Yes, he
dressed
is.
like the hunter.
As he's talking about this.
Thank you for pointing that out.
It's his Halloween outfit.
That is incredible.
I'm going to get that wascoey wabbit if it's the last thing I do.
We do own guns.
Say it, Tim. Say it. I'm gonna get that wascally wabbit.
He better say it. He better
say it. Say it. Let's see if he says it.
I think this is true. I think this might be the first Democratic ticket where both the president and the vice president are gun owners this time. So that's something. It's something. And I say this to you because we're not going to allow them to make this about the Second Amendment. We certainly believe in the Second Amendment.
Do you?
And you're right to own this. But our first responsibility is to make sure we're protecting our children and our communities from gun violence.
Be very, very quiet. Oh, man. That is embarrassing.
That's very embarrassing.
I'm hunting wabbit.
Man, I tell you,
it's embarrassing.
He's so bad at playing. I just can't stand.
So bad. They're such fake phonies.
Oh,
you know
every one of them.
All I'm thinking about whenever I see him, I saw him with his damn gun and all that stuff out in the field. And anyway, I was thinking about John Kerry in 2004 walking into that store going, "I'm here to see about a hunting license." I mean, stop it.
Well, and it's reminiscent. People have pointed this out too. It's a lot like Dukakis's moment in the tank. Kerry's moment with the spacesuit on, the helmet or whatever he was doing.
Right.
I mean, there are certain moments that doom candidacies, and this should definitely be one of them. Wow, that's incredible.
Walking around talking like Elmer Fudd.
Right.
Embarrassing.
I'm going to get that wascally wabbit. If it's the last thing I do, be very, very quiet.
I'm Tim Wall.
We'll see you tomorrow. Oh, and on overtime coming up.
This is Pat Gray Unleashed.